and welcome back to my channel. Tonight, by request, I'm going to be talking a little bit about a few strategies and showing you my deck and talking a little bit about that. So first off, one of the hardest things that I find is going to be challenged against Wales as a free-to-play player. I don't spend money on this game, but you still have to be able to keep up with the more advanced players who have spent money in order to get your rewards. So, as you can see, the timer for the shop reset not too long ago. First things first, I go to get coins. Coins are always valuable no matter what. PvP tickets aren't too hard to get, but coins can be, especially after you finish all of your single player games. So I tend to buy 4 times, so every day I end up with 600 extra coins. It's not huge, but it's enough to do one upgrade on the more expensive upgrades. And once you're done with the upgrade, that's it, it's permanently upgraded. Upgrade items. As you can see, I have plenty of items going on here, so 900 of them. I really don't need to buy too many more. But I still don't want to lose the opportunity. If I decide to go hard into the sci-fi theme, I'm going to be prepared and just ready to level everything up and make it ready for competitive games. Same idea with this here. I try not to go past 30 because it is a newer item. I did spend the full 30. Here, I'll even buy one more just because when it comes to epics, I believe I said something about this in another video, but epics are the hardest ones to get. They are hands down the most valuable cards in the game besides legendaries. However, legendaries you cannot purchase from PvP tickets, and these you can. I always recommend buying at least one of every single epic that comes up in your PvP ticket butter shop. The only ones that I will never spend any money on is going to be Gizmo Ike. He is absolutely one of the worst cards in game. I take him out anytime I've ever faced him. Mephisto just absolutely craps on him. One AoE character and it's over. And then the other one is going to be the new Shelly card. Can't remember the name, but the adventure theme one. I just don't find her to be a very strong character. Her ability is a melee ability as a ranged character, which granted can be really nice when they get too close to your range. But as a ranged, your goal is to keep them far, far away, not wait for them to get up to you to deal that extra damage. So I feel like it kind of takes away from the purpose of a ranged. Over here, it's going to be something similar. Again, you can see I have plenty of materials. Give me just a moment. I'm happy to show you all the materials that I've collected over the time. But again, I buy only a few. With these guys, I tend to buy 4, maybe 5, and that's about it, depending on, again, if it's a class that I need or if it's what I'm working on. And currently, that's a theme that I'm working on, but I'm not in the practice just yet competitively with that theme. Free pack real quick just because I'm here. I'm going to go ahead and show you every card or all my materials, and then I'll go over my deck with you. So as you can see here, plenty of materials to do anything and everything that I need. 3,000, 3,300, etc. You can tell Adventure was one of my biggest focuses, as well as Mystical, as that is my current theme for my main deck. Superheroes is brand new, yet somehow it's catching up really quickly. It's kind of obvious that they lean the chances of loot towards that theme, and I think it's a little ridiculous considering I don't use it. I have no interest in using it, especially considering every other deck has about twice as many cards available than superheroes. So you're also rather limited, plus some of the cards just don't match up to the other themes. Neutral, in my opinion, is the most valuable, so I always recommend buying extra neutral items. I'll go ahead and show you my deck real quick, and then I'll talk a little bit about strategy. Essentially, my deck is comprised for a very defensive deck that looks for opportunities. Man Bear Pig was my first level 3 legendary, so the rest of my deck kind of was built around that card. I realized quite how powerful Man Bear Pig can be. Honestly, the biggest problem deck that I have to face is going to be the fantasy decks that have Wizard Cartman. And the reason that Wizard Cartman is such a pain in the butt for me is, here he is, he moves slower, he has an AoE heal, and if you look at his stats, 2500 with 80 attack, I mean 80 attack is definitely a lot weaker than Manbear Pig, but the health isn't really too far off. It's really only 400 or 500. And when you're talking about a few thousand, the 500 is a nice chunk, but it's not your make or break point. So that AoE freeze, knockback, and damage really outweighs that extra 75 per swing with 500 health. And it's 1 mana cheaper. So that's one that, it tends to give me more problems than any other deck. I have no problem against rush decks, to be quite honest. Manbear Pig is quite the valuable card. You do have to remember that it's always going to be the target of any large removal, so it never wants to be your first card played, ever. For a long time while I was doing that, I thought, hey, Manbear Pig's a great card. I'll start off with him, start the game strong. He gets taken out too quickly, they play on the defensive. It's just too easy of a strategy to take out a Manbear Pig. He's a tank, he's not a beast. Energy Staff. I believe if you have a mystical deck as part of your gameplay, Energy Staff is critical to any deck that has the green deck, just hands down. The reason I'm so intent on having this Energy Staff, I know it doesn't provide a card, it's not defensive, but it can be a little bit defensive. If you need your new kid to take out, let's say, Cyborg Kenny, and you don't have something that can trade him or, just neutralize him, Energy Staff can be quite the catch because it'll take a few hits while the new kid kills it with his zap. Which, trading a 4 Energy Staff for a 4 Cyborg Kenny and you get a little bit of mana back from it, you're definitely coming out on top. But the reason I'm so keen on Energy Staff is because I'm a defensive deck, the first card I always play, if available, is Energy Staff. It buys me a few extra seconds, it forces them to play the first card, which allows me to counter their card rather than hoping that we're going to be somewhat evenly matched. On top of that, it gives me more time to play on my side of the table. You're going to be stronger on your side. A, you can summon stuff there. B, you're going to have your new kid hitting you as well. C, it's just more control when it's on your side of the fence. It really just is. So when you're fighting on your side, you have that huge advantage. They're forced to play a card in which you can easily counter, especially having something like Hookhand Clyde. If they play the first card, that's going to be one of my cards to play, in which I can easily neutralize a card. So not only have I taken out one of their, any cost between 3, 4, sometimes even a 5 cost card can be taken out by Clyde. Not too many, I don't think. But you're taking out anywhere from 2 to 4 of their mana on top of getting extra energy back for free. Absolutely great strategy. Bandita Sally was one of my favorite cards for a long time. I leveled her up to level 7 before they nerfed her. She used to have 245 attack and 245 health. She had a little bit of a faster attack rate, and she had the longest attack range out of every other assassin. So she would just dominate any other assassin she would come up to. She kept up with every level 4 assassin as well, which is great. Unfortunately, once assassins hit level 5, they outrank the level 7 Sally because one is common and the other one is epic. Here you're going to have, it's not the one I meant, Fireborn Hunters. You gotta have 2 assassins in this type of deck. I have way too many big cards that are slow attack, not high damage. I have to have something to supplement that damage. As you can see, this card is very much on par with Bandita Sally. This has a little bit of a shorter range, 0.6 compared to your 0.7, but he's also got that little bit of extra speed. In a few games, I can also highlight and show you how to place your assassins defensively to always get the jump on the other assassin. There's definitely a trick to it. Trading is not the way you want to go. Sometimes you're obligated to, but if you're risking trading, you're also risking losing your guy, And if his assassin kills yours and that's all the energy you have, you just lost a phone. Assassins do a lot of damage, very Bookhand Clyde, very self-explanatory. Level 4 makes it great. Level 5 it's going to be rather soon. I'm already at 81 out of 100. Quite exciting. This card does really great things. It's won me games. It allows you to place it in a way where it forces the character to take a few extra steps back in order to go around Clyde or even push Clyde forward in order to get across the middle of the board. So that, again, can slow down your gameplay and really helps with the whole defensive mechanisms that you're looking for. It takes out a character. You can even use it offensively. I can't tell you how many times you look at the enemy player and he's got less than that 68 health, that all you need is this hook to hit him in the face one time to win the game. Definitely a clutch card, a little bit of RNG, so you gotta get lucky as well. Terrence and Phillip, one of my most recent favorite cards. Absolutely incredible card. It stops Dougies, it stops assassins, it stops tanks. It's very, very versatile card. It has one of the highest attack speeds in game. As you can see, the range is 0.7, which is what Bandita Sally is. Very few melee have that type of range. The speed, the fact that two of them spawn at the exact same time, allow them to both attack together if placed properly. For example, on a Dougie or an assassin that's trying to just quickly take out a bar of health, or if you're simply trying to preserve, defending something. You put these two guys in front of something, they can't get quite through them and they get attacked at least once each before they can actually do what they wanted to. Again, this requires a little bit of practice. You're going to want to learn how to place them properly. But once you learn how to place Terrence and Phillip properly, absolutely one of the strongest cards in my deck. Pretty sure they can even one-on-one Man Bear Pig. I know they take out Pocahontas Randy by themselves, and a 4 cost taken out of 5 efficiently, pretty worth it. Terrence Modesto. This card, the reason I chose it, aerials are just very difficult to remove sometimes, especially when they're supported by the type of fighters and tanks and the revival and everything that I have. Now, one of the clutch things about this is when I play Man Bear Pig, anyone who doesn't have removal is going to swarm Man Bear Pig. That's the only way to defeat him, is to put multiple things on him. Mephisto deals with that beautifully, especially when you have your Man Bear Pig fighting another tank and then they decide to put 1 or 2 assassins down. If I put my Mephisto down, that's going to take out anything within a certain area, 3.5 distance here you can see, and it takes only a few hits to really take out an assassin, which is absolutely phenomenal when he's wailing on your Man Bear Pig who's not doing too much damage to your enemy tank. So this is a great solution to rats taking them out, pigeons, you got other range, anything aerial this is great against. And then one of my personal favorite uses about it is when I'm fighting against a tank right in front of the enemy new player, they'll place it down because they know that all they need to do is 1 or 2 people. They're also playing very defensive. But when I get my Terrence Mephisto to help do that damage, the AoE is actually big enough with the knockback from Man Bear Pig to start damaging the new kid, your enemy new kid. In fact, I've had plenty of games where this strategy has won me that game because we're both very defensive. No one can break through the other person's defense, but because my AoE is doing extra damage to both the tank and the new player, or the new kid, it wins games. Very clutch item. D-Star replacement might be Nathan, but I really like the fact that it's aerial and it's my one and only airborne character. Energy Staff I went over. Medicine Woman Sharon. Wow. I have not seen a card that has been so underpowered and then became so incredibly overpowered. Just a few months ago, before they buffed this, I didn't see a single player with this. It was not a viable card. The heals was not great. The damage, the health, it was just not a great card. Now, this is a clutch card. It does AoE healing, it heals the player. This card is stronger than Angel Wendy, and Angel Wendy was originally built to be that healing class in which this character is now built as. The damage is actually rather decent. I have almost 100 damage as level 5. I plan on working on this to level 6 after I finish Terrence and Philip to level 7. But you can see, a level 5 fireball is not enough to take her out, which is incredible. And when she gets to level 6, a level 6 fireball will not be enough to take her out, which is wonderful, because that means she has to be sniped or actually killed in battle. Otherwise, she's going to be healing and healing and healing, and it's absolutely glorious to watch somebody use one of the removals on my Medicine Woman Sharon, especially after I've already healed with her. A lot of people will do something with Minzy or Headhunter, and they'll take out some of your health, and this is a wonderful way to recover from taking those few hits. Fireball, one of my most clutch cards. You can take out groups, absolutely awesome. You can take out range. When they think that they're being clever and, hey, I have this person in front of me, I'm going to put down 2 ranged guys, and we're going to cluster them up, and then I'm going to put another guy to kind of come out slowly. They're trying to play defensive. They're trying to make the game on their side of the battlefield, which is exactly what I see for this type of deck to do. But it becomes problematic when something like Witch Doctor Token, Stand of Many Moons, you get a Sharon Woman, or Bounty Hunter Clyde all of a sudden. You can get some very problematic ranged people that are very difficult to get. Even the 2 legendary melee that I just mentioned, Witch Doctor Token and Stand of Many Moons, you want to get rid of them. You really do. You don't want to face a token when he's fully charged. He's just going to, drain everything. Definitely a clutch card for AoE removals. Make sure that if you do choose to use Fireball, it's leveled up for the rank that you're playing at. As I was using a level 5 Fireball before I ranked it up, I was having a lot of trouble removing any legendary that's level 3. Mecha Timmy, absolutely horrible card to Fireball and not kill. It just takes over your cards, it's ranged, it's slow. You want to get rid of those kind of cards quick. Right now, my biggest problem with Fireball is I'm starting to face a lot of level 4 and up legendaries. Level 5 legendaries, there's no way I can keep up with them, they're just absolute wheels. But level 4 legendaries, I can still compete with them. And if I can one-shot them with this, that'll make all the difference. Manbear Pig, I'm sure you're all very familiar with. It has that knockback, it has a huge range, it has a huge attack distance. Absolutely wonderful card. One of the coolest things about Manbear Pig is, doesn't matter where you place him on the map, he will go for the character closest to him. He does not pass by other characters, so if you put him in the bottom right corner, and they put a tank in the middle, or even towards the top to try and bypass Manbear Pig will hunt them down. Absolutely great. Poke Timmy! Another great card. When you can revive Manbear Pig, absolutely phenomenal. Just incredible. It's a free 7-cost card, and Poke Timmy is not a card to be trifled with. 155 attack with 600 health is not easy to take out, especially as the range is one of the longest ranges of your ranged characters. Poke Timmy will take out your average assassin, and an assassin is something built to take something out quickly. But 1 versus 1, this range will kill the assassin every time. It even has a little bit of a knockback. Alright guys, now a little bit of strategy. I guess I spoke about that. The biggest strategy for me with Poke Timmy is a lot of people, when you play Manbear Pig and you let it die last, you always want to try and let it die last so you can revive it with Poke Timmy. But they also caught on to this rather quickly, and they'll save their removal for Poke Timmy. That way they can get rid of your 6 cost, and Timmy alone is not really worth the 6 cost, but they're taking out that and your revive. It's going to be huge detrimental to you, especially if they have any more energy than you. So what I always aim and strive is I'll play Poke Timmy either after they play an expensive card. For example, if they destroy my Manbear Pig and then they decide to summon some sort of Randy that costs 5, some sort of Cartman that costs 4, 5, or 6, that's a great time to play Manbear Pig, because chances are they don't have the extra 5 mana necessary to kill Poke Timmy, and if they're not adventure themed, then they don't have lightning. And lightning is the only thing you have to worry about, but it still has to be rather leveled up in order to kill 600 health. Let me take a look at what mine is. Now you can kind of see what I mean. Mine is right here. So 568. So it has to be level 5 to take him out, because 568 falls just short of your 588. So it's really a great card. So the strategy is to make sure that Poke to me, besides watching when they play a card, because you can also tell if they're waiting to play a card so that they're full energy, so they have that removal ready for the moment you play Poke to me. Play a different card. But the trick is, play the different card where you would expect to play Poke Timmy. So what I'll do, if I have Witch Doctor Token, Medicine Woman, Pokehan Clyde, whatever, Terrence and Phillip, actually one of my favorite for it. Play Terrence and Phillip behind your new player. Immediately after, you play your Poke Timmy off to the side in a corner. Believe me, 9 out of 10 times, they'll use Unholy Combustion on Terrence or Phillip, and it doesn't kill both, which means they just spent 5 mana destroying 2 of your mana, and you just got your Man-Bear Pick Revival. Can't tell you how many times I've seen somebody give up right then and there and just quit. They just stop playing. But it's an easy win. Fireball and Man-Bear Pig Revival, 2 of the biggest wins that I've ever seen. You fireball a good group, you'll see how many people just say, I'm done, I quit, next game. Alright, glad you guys got to hear me talk a little bit about this. Let me go ahead and play one game so that you can see some of the strategies I've mentioned in action. And then I'm going to go ahead and post this. Alright, hey, look at that. I'm even eligible for another PvP pack. I guess while it's loading, I can also talk about some of the strategies I use when doing events. Events, I rarely do the Wednesday, Thursday event. I just find it ridiculously tedious and difficult to make a deck every single week to try and get 12 wins with. You never know who you're going to face. Every so often I'll play if I find myself some extra time. I noticed that he didn't play anything, which is why I didn't put Pokehan Clyde in front of him, but that was one of the strategies I mentioned earlier. Terrence and Phil, this is one of those placements here. You want to be very, very pristine on your placement if you're trying to get them to go together, because if you don't, one goes in front, the other goes a little bit behind, and they don't attack in sync, which, it's kind of your goal. Man-Bear Pig, obviously, at this point, he's given me the game. So with events, I don't usually do the Wednesday, Thursday event. 12 wins, it's ridiculous. You end up playing, up to 14 games. The prizes can be quite nice, but they're not that impressively nice that I just don't have the time and patience to do it. I'm already doing the PvP packs multiple times a day. I have other things in life as well, as I'm sure you do too, hence the reason I don't spend money on this game. So instead what I do is I choose to focus on the events of card use. The events where you're forced to collect from lockers, I tend not to finish those on the weekends. It's too many items to collect and I just don't have time to spend, 4, 5, 6 hours for 2-3 days in order to get the last 2 packs. So I'll do the most I can for those. But I always aim to try and complete the card item ones. It's rather easy. The biggest problem is being this rank and trying to face people who aren't necessarily doing that strategy, or if the cards for that event are already part of their deck, it makes it difficult. But at this point, it truly doesn't matter to me too much what rank I am, because I've already passed the 7,000. I'm getting that legendary pack at the end of the season. And to beat 6,000 legendary rank isn't too awfully difficult for me, and if I find myself getting too close, I go back to my main deck, and I boost myself a little. Look at at this. Level 24, 7333. Absolutely no chance. But I'm going to go ahead and play this just because I can. I have a terrible starting hand, so I'm going to start with him. Energy staff comes up. I'm just putting that down. That's free energy. Like I said, we're playing defensive. Marcus, absolute pain in the butt. Medicine Woman Sharon is a wonderful counter to her. So we're going to go ahead and play Medicine Woman Sharon here. He should be able to take out Butters on his own. Now here's what's great. Because of her placement, let's go ahead and do this. I did not get what I was aiming for, but that'll be fine. Alright, this is actually working out decently. So you can see I protect my Medicine Woman Sharon. I don't know if that's him giving up right now or saying I'm better than you. But I protect her well. It just countered that entirely. Go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and take them out so I can take out this bar of health. That's going to cause him to be a little bit desperate. But right now I have the advantage. And honestly, my goal is not for Medicine Woman Sharon to survive this. Unfortunately, they both died together. This is what I was saying earlier by you never want to put your Pope Timmy up right away. I know my Terrence and Philip can beat her one-on-one, and I highly doubt he'll use a removal to take out one or the other of those two guys. This is that perfect example of how you do that awesome pushback of proper placement, which she doesn't get more than one hit off of, and I still outsped her. She did not touch my new kid because of my placement. That's fine. Let's go ahead and hit that regen. That was actually a pretty bad call. Sorry, I ain't perfect, but I do pretty well, I like to think. He just used a lot of mana. That tells me he is low on mana. Energy Staff is going to give me this huge boost right now and really give me that advantage, especially after the 1 minute mark. Look at how quickly my energy just collects. Now, considering this guy here, I don't want him to get to me too quick. Let's go ahead and do that. Fireball. Oh, there you go. This is that example I was telling you about, how absolutely incredible the AoE can be. I just took out 2 assassins, which caused him to, have something desperate. He uses Red Queen because of that. Oh man, that was actually a lot more difficult than I expected. And this guy's really trying to strategy again. See, 2 assassins, a lot of damage very quick, especially when they work in sync. Bam! Nice! So you got to see a little bit of the strategy I was talking about just now. I do hope you enjoyed everything. I'm going to go ahead and finish off my PvP packs. I'm going to record them in a separate video and start putting that towards other videos that I'm creating. If you want to see more, if you have suggestions, if you enjoyed this video, please comment, subscribe, help me build this channel up. I'm still new to this, so I'm trying my best. Help me build it, please. We'll be seeing you again real soon. Thanks for watching.